So in the Godoy book, they call it the ball system. The ball system is when you look in front of the bar while it's running, then you can see. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't matter. You will see that on your machine. It will look something like this, And this is how you set your machine. And they have different recommendations for needles, but I don't want to talk about that. The wider the gap, the more stroke you have in a machine. What means the more the needle goes in and out. What is for some places like in the palm or like where you have a very strong skin, you need that gap, But usually I always tried to have the hoop, the stroke as short as possible. When I know I need just like 1.5 millimeter to go in the skin, then I have a stroke of 1.5 millimeter. I never ever have more of a stroke because it makes absolutely no sense in my eyes. A lot of tattooists I seen working with a big stroke, working with a stroke of like 3 millimeter, and they have a stroke that the needle is not going like this. The needle goes in here. So it still goes out only like 1.5, 2 millimeter. And then it goes like over accelerated in like this. The thing is, everything what the needle goes in here, you absolutely don't need. So I tried always to set the machine that it really have only the stroke was outside of the tip, because you don't need that stroke inside. All that stroke inside, the only thing what it really does is that it takes power away from the machine, that it takes like this power away, because every time the stroke gets wider, that means your bar get wider away from your magnets, and then you lose power. So you try to keep it as small as possible, but when it's too small and you don't get in the skin, then you need to lose it up, So it's always good to like look at the front. I usually try to have the balls just touching or like move a little bit inside. Don't be afraid to take the machine apart, rebuild and or replace parts. Cutting corners or taking the easy way out gains you nothing. Be a professional. Join the professionals who know this information. If you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. Jory, Angel of Death Helmets, is a responsible artist who uses a baggie on his machines. And that is one thing. You build machines like this, you have to take care of it. Always bag your machines. I'm like someone, that is like for me the biggest joke in the tattoo industry, that a lot of tattooists, they all be professional and they wear this and here super safe and here clean, but then they don't have a bag around the machine was that close to the human body. That really drives me crazy. Yeah, I think that's not so much to say anymore. Just when you know all this, it's all about experimenting. It's all about trying around, finding your way for the machines, finding what you prefer. If you prefer clipcord, use clipcord. If you prefer this or that, use that or this. If you want to have a very clean, polished machine, clean your machine, polish your machine. It don't need to look like this, This is like my style of how I build my machines. Like with the cables and stuff, you can make machines where the cables are fully hidden and no one sees the cables. It's no problem with that. There are no rules in between, or buy some special, more expensive extra parts somewhere. Try around. Even you buy expensive parts, it still costs like nothing, Like some people pay $1,000 for a tattoo machine from like this or this builder. And the thing is, you can have the best tattoo gun builder in the world. It is still not built for your needs, because he don't know your needs. The only person who actually really knows your needs are you. This is something you have to be aware. that no one ever can build you a machine like you could do, because you can evolve the machines to your needs in the time you need it. And that is the very beautiful thing. I built machines I would not tattooed with like 3 years later. But in the time I built that, it was the machines I needed in that time. But then my tattooing progressed, so I adopted my machines. And I sometimes adopted my machines before my skills. And it was a progression together. And that is something to understand. You progress with your tools because your machines are your tools. It's what you do, you know. So power supplies. As I mentioned, I use the Icon EMS 300 here for building, and at my workspace I have a Godoy power supply. I have the Bavarian custom power supply, which I love entirely. I tested out a lot of other analog supplies, even like that modules you know from the school when you make the electric stuff, like normal analog labor power supplies. They are actually very good because there you see the ampere, you see how much ampere you can feed in. They have a lot of ampere. They're all analog. There's not like just some platines where like nothing runs through, you know. Especially when you make the effort and you make yourself bigger coils, when you maybe, in case you get some Godoy machines who have already like the bigger wired coils, in that case you can build machines who run through a lot more ampere, what gives you a lot more power later on. And you see, even to wrap your own coils, it's also like not such a big deal, especially like getting some wire you get in every home market, you know. You not even need a special shop for that, and so on. And you just grow with your machines, just understand your machines. And I could show you a little bit the machine I created for the Godoys. It was a machine where you could take it's a very functional machine, because you could actually you can change the angle of the back with opening the screws and shift the angle, what allows you to make a lot of different settings and buildings in the machine without build on the actual frame, because it's a fluid frame. You see, the frame is one part, is a second part, is a third part, and you have the bottom. You see, when you would shift out the armature bar, you normally have the problem where your tube comes out. On my frame, you can just open up here the sides and you can shift the tube holder back and forward. So you can use whatever armature bar you want, long, small. This machine I concepted together with Godoy for tattoo artists who want to try out a little bit more. It's a machine, it's very hard to set up. But I tattooed the last 6 years of my life not with that machine, my one is destroyed, but with my own model. And when it's one set up, it's such a beautiful machine. But this is a machine who gives you a lot of possibilities to try building out, because you can like try different things on the frame without destroying the frame. Very beautiful tool. I'm very happy that I once made that. In case you want this machine, good luck finding that, because there are very little chances that you will get your hand on one of them. The Godoy brothers like not really make much machines anymore. They always had this punk attitude, not for the substandard asshole was their slogan. Punk rock skateboarding, tattooing, and yeah, I loved it, but it was very difficult to get a machine from them. They was kind of custom made always. They was pretty expensive, but they was worth it. There's no machines in the world who are like this. And you see, like my machine, the coil in the back is a little bit smaller. This have only 7 reps and not 8 reps. So we equaled out a little bit the coil so that there's a little bit more power in the front than in the back, because you need more power in the front. So what means that there will be automatically shifting more electric to the front. Also the front coil, it's shifted a little bit. You see, like a V-frame. So that means the top magnetic field is shifted a little bit more to the front of the bar, while you still are able to put the tube in the bottom, you know. Also, you don't see that here, but the coils are squarish, and the square goes even bigger on the top. So on the top you have an immensely big field where the magnet can pull down the bar. And that's just a few of the gimmicks of my machine from years of building machines. And yeah, there are no limits, you know, with building machines. And the wonderful thing is, don't limit yourself with making only this or making only that. It's beautiful to just experimenting. It's beautiful to find your own ways. You see, before that one coil broke, and we just put a small coil in the back, and this machine runs amazing. I would tattoo with that, you know. I would tattoo with the 10 euro machine. But the powerful thing is, this is not a 10 euro machine anymore, you know, because this is a machine built from someone with almost 2 decades of tattoo and tattoo machine building experience. So this is a very customized, powerful tool, and that is the huge difference. That is the very big difference of even buying a machine for 600-700 euro, who is nothing special, with just a machine probably built together by people who not even tattoo themselves. And that is where the mistake lies, you know. All these big companies, they all run by not even tattooists, by people who are not tattooing, get manufactured maybe in China, maybe in places where they're even more far away from tattooing. And don't expect to get like your high-end super machine from them. It doesn't matter what price you pay. Doesn't matter what brand you pay for. You know, it all doesn't matter, because that is not what makes a good machine. A good machine is the combination of what you do with it and how you adopt your machine to it. Because it's your tools. It's what you hold in your hands, and it's the most powerful tool for tattooing. You have it in your hands. And that is why I never ever was a fan of rotary, because you have seen what we all done today. We can have so much influence in a tattoo gun, so much influence in a coil. A coil has soul and spirit, and you can change everything. I can make the craziest machines. And with a rotary, you can pull the voltage up and down. That's it, you know. That's not enough for me.